beautiful people in the world. I'm your host, Essence.
And I'm your host, Alondra. And you're now listening to Pretty Perspectives.
Welcome back, you guys. This is our continuation of our last podcast. We have the skin lady, Nina Prasad, here back with us.
Hi.
We have more questions that we want to ask you because, of course, you know, we ended it off in a cliffhanger. We want to know more about what happened after you recovered from your car accident.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you have to save this video and go back to our last episode, our last podcast, and listen in to get all caught up. But we hope you guys enjoy this podcast. I'm going to hand over this microphone to my co-partner, Alondra, to ask you these questions, okay?
Awesome.
Hello.
Hi.
So, first question.
Okay.
What is it like being a wife and a mother in the industry?
Well, okay. So I have 3 beautiful children. I've been married for 10 years to my husband, who I dated since 2005.
Oh my god.
High school sweethearts. So my eldest is 9 years old, and my son is 7, and then I have a new baby boy who's 4 months old.
Her baby is just the cutest thing. Bridge, right?
Yeah, Bridge.
Oh my goodness. How many months is he now?
He is gonna be 5 months on the 18th.
Oh, he's little.
He is.
Yeah.
When did you have him? What month?
January.
Oh
Yeah.
Long
New Year's baby.
Yes, yeah. So it was a beautiful pregnancy with him, but at delivery it got really crazy.
Tough.
Yeah, it got tough. But I would say, as I was a first time mom at 24, and then I had my second at 26, and then now I have my third one at 34. So
Wow.
such a huge range in my career.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your firstborn.
Mm-hmm.
She is super, super talented.
Oh, thank you.
Emilia, right?
Yeah, Emilia.
I seen her drawings on Instagram.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness. When did she start drawing?
She actually started drawing at like 4 years old.
Oh, she
And
was little.
Yeah, and she drew free-handed Mickey Mouse at like 4.5. Minnie Mouse. And then she did Donald Duck for her cousin. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like a little protege. Yeah, she's really, I give her everything. We've got her the Prisma color pencils,
The tools that she needs, right.
and everything she needs. And we've invested a lot of money in her art supply. And then now she's doing clay work, ceramic work, and then she wants to do crocheting and all that stuff. So she's like, Mom, I need this, and I'm like, okay, girlfriend, hold on. Like, one talent at a time.
Please.
Yeah. But ever since she was like 4, we put her into ballet. She's done ballet when she was 2, and then 6, and then we're going back to Julien's School of Dance here in Modesto this fall. And she also learned how to play the keyboard. So,
nice.
Yeah, so she went to the School of Rock in Tustin, California, because we used to live in Orange County for a couple years. And she is everything she's done like executed well. Yeah. I'm like, okay, girl, you're like a natural everything. And then even in soccer, she just started rec last year. We were in San Diego, and she did rec, and she was freaking amazing at defense. And she played such an amazing defense. That girl can move from one end to the field to the other in like minutes and block that ball. So, she's my pride and joy.
What about, I'm sorry guys if you guys heard me hit the mic, but what about RJ, right?
RJ, yeah, he's junior.
What is he into nowadays? What is he up to?
My son, he wants to do basketball and baseball now. He started off doing soccer, and he did really well. But I think he's just trying to figure out his own little way. He loves cars. He can tell you the make and model of every car. He can tell you like what horsepowers, what kind of like exhaust they have, like all these little things. He's a car guy, just like his dad. So he's a really mini of his dad.
I would say when I met RJ, I'm like, he's just true to where he grew up in the West Coast. Like he is a true West Coast little boy. I'm like, he really loves Cali.
Yeah,
he really does.
He loves the beach and the ocean, and he loves swimming, and he just loves like just doing any bike riding. Like he's a little grom too. He gets down with the skateboards and the bikes and everything like that. So he's totally Cali boy for sure.
Yeah, he is Cali boy. And your little one, he is progressing a lot. I remember because your sister, if anybody doesn't know how we met through Nina, Nina's sister.
Yeah, my little sister.
Yeah, she is my client, and she gave me so much confidence in this industry because we seen so much progression in her skincare and her skin health. So she told me, she came in for a consultation, and she told me what she wanted to work on. We were very, very punctual of what we were gonna do, and we seen all of our plans through. But one thing that stood out to me was that she said, my sister, she works in San Diego. She's an esthetician as well. And I'm like, I gotta rise to the occasion, so I will not let her down, or worse, let her sister down. But we met at your sister's office.
Yeah.
And you just welcomed me with the most warmest smile.
Aww.
You were very, very genuine, very knowledgeable, and I just wanted to know more about you and where you came from, and your story. And I'm really greatly grateful for our friendship.
Yeah,
because I have a feeling that we are already doing it now, just making each other
oh, definitely
better, but also taking each other out of our shells and into less comfortable space, but a good uncomfortable space
and
to make us grow.
And I feel like we'll be business partners in the future.
I can definitely tell. This is foreshadowing, guys. You heard it here first. Pretty perspective.
But anyways, as an esthetician in the industry, being a mother and a wife, it's very flexible because we can make our own hours. And even when you start with a corporate company, like I've worked in 2 corporate companies in the industry, actually 3, and I've always been able to gear my my schedule around my children, and I feel like that's easy being there for them. But the hard part is the exhaustion level of that energy exchange you're giving your clients every day, the kind of treatments you're doing. You're touching someone and you're trying to make them feel comfortable, and then they're venting to you about their whole life story. You're kind of like a mini therapist for them, and like you take all that energy in. It's like, I need to stay grounded. How do I stay grounded? And so when you go home, then you're being needed by 2 toddlers and a husband who's like, I'm off to work. Where's my lunch? Where's this? Where's that? So, just trying to find that balance. And it's hard. You're not going to be perfect at it all the time. You're going to be drained, tired from work. You're going to be feeling like, oh my God, my hands and my feet and my back hurt. And here I am having kids like on me. But it's only for a short time because they grow up so fast, So, I mean, I feel like the work is flexible and you can give yourself time, because you have to have self-care too as an esthetician. You're caring for others, you got to care for yourself.
It's also a job.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So, I felt like that exhaustion level was hard to kind of balance out at first, but as the years went by, it got easier for me.
It got easier.
Yeah.
Especially in the time that you are within your career, I'm sure it got easier too.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. So our second question is, what are your goals in the beauty industry?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I have a lot. Currently I'm in nursing school.
Oh, congrats.
And I'm hitting finals next week.
Ooh.
But I'm not done with the program yet. This was the prerequisite programs to get into the core program. But I have a really good grade. I'm like, pretty good, 90% up there. Having 3 kids, like doing 90% in school, higher than that. I'm like at 95% right now. So I'm like, yes, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I am just doing what I can because eventually I want to get into medical aesthetics. That is where this industry is headed towards. Those are the treatments that I want to do. These are the things that now I need to do because I've done everything. And I'm kind of like at a standstill and plateaued in my career. So now how do I elevate up? And it's the medical industry.
What interested you in taking that route with med spa?
Well, so I first wanted to do, went to school for makeup. Then in beauty school, I learned so much about product ingredients and getting really product savvy. And I liked the chemistry. And I was always science, driven. And I like science a lot in high school. So I really like the scientific background of like what actual ingredients do to the skin and how it can heal and help. And when I was working for Massage Envy in back in 2019 or 2018, I really got more in depth onto those like ingredients and stuff like that. So I've always looked into doing my own product line. That was one of the things. And then kind of from there, I went into working for Benefit Cosmetics again and doing makeup. And I still had that dream of aspiring to do like more work. More something more. And I didn't know what that was. And I also taught at Paul Mitchell in San Diego too. And I wanted to just go back to school for something. And when I left Paul Mitchell and I was out of work for 3 months, I was looking for schools, but I didn't really know what I really wanted to go for. But I kept getting interviews, and all the interviews wanted a medical esthetician in La Jolla, because that's where I was based in, was in La Jolla. And it was just, everything was driven to the med spa industry. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to nursing school. I'm doing this,
Was that one of your goals in the industry, to be in Southern California?
Yes. So
as an esthetician,
I definitely wanted to move to Southern California because back in 2009, 2010, the spa industry here was really in the Central Valley was like
not so big.
Not so big.
No.
It was very small, and it was more larger in the Bay Area or Southern California. And I've always wanted to live down in Southern California ever since I was like 5 years old. We would go travel.
You were little then.
Yeah, travel and go visit my family that lived out there. And so I fell in love with the big city. I always wanted to be a city girl.
Let's clarify, okay. Not like that.
Okay. In this day and age, not like that. But back in the day, it was like Sex and the City was a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
You were just like, oh, I want to live in a big city and do the whole sky rise and have opportunities. So that was where I'm coming from. Saying that. So yeah, I went out there. And a lot of things happen down there for me to like have opportunities in the industry. So, it's just, I got in network out there with other estheticians, met a couple estheticians to work on a skincare line. And I'll go into some of that later. But, there's so many goals for me. But the one goal I'm sticking to right now is getting into the med spa industry, so that I can own a med spa, whether it's nationwide, whether it's with you, working with top of the line estheticians, medical professionals, trying to do the wellness treatment, everything under the sun for wellness. Yeah.
Let's go back, down your timeline, if you don't mind, because we ended off in the last episode. You getting into that car accident. So from the car accident to healing, and getting well and getting back to what you do and what you do best and what you love. How many months or years did it take you to get back into the groove, and when did you decide to move, like take that move to San Diego?
So we had actually moved to San Diego when I was 2 months pregnant.
With your firstborn?
With my firstborn. So we moved back in 2014. And I got a job at the La Jolla Sporting Club. They had a spa there, and I would administer the facials and the hydrofacials there. And I was pregnant, so they didn't want to risk because of the chemical in the facials that they did. They didn't want to risk anything. So I ended up working front desk there. And then 3 months into the job, I get on bed rest. So I get into bed rest, and so there goes my whole career again.
There it is.
And I'm a first-time mom, and here I am with my baby. I ended up staying home with her for 3 years. And I always felt like I wanted to go back and work for myself, but being a first-time mommy and just having that baby, you're just like, I want to do so much for you, and I need to know if I have people to support me, so I just didn't want to go through that, and I felt like I just wanted to just be a mom and just figure this mom thing out.
But it was possible because you stayed there for so long.
I stayed there for 9 months. I came back because my aunt got sick with cancer, and I'm a family girl, so my aunt is like a second mom to me, so that's what brought me back home.
And then you went back.
And then I went back in 2017. My husband got accepted to UC San Diego. And I ended up working for Massage Envy. In 6 months, I was promoted to regional trader and lead esthetician. With that job, I became very product knowledge, ingredient savvy. I did all the presentations, hired all the new estheticians for 3 of their northern San Diego stores. So I did that. And then I left that job because of pay reasons.
Right.
I just felt like I wasn't valued for what I was worth. And then I went on into waxing. I got hired at European Wax Center, and I leveled up really quick because they have a leveling system. You start out at white and at red, but I was an orange level waxer for them. So that meant I can do 10-minute Brazilians and 20-minute arms, legs, back, and chest. Things like that, So I got really good at waxing, and I loved it. And I loved it.
Fast.
I loved it more than facials because I didn't have to invest so much time in my back and everything. And especially being in car accidents, I just knew that was like easier for my body to maneuver. So I got really good at
right.
Yeah. So I got really good at waxing. And then I worked there, and then COVID shut us down. And then I was forced to move back to Modesto. And from that point on, I used all my stimulus money and invested it in the stock market. Did very well for myself in there. Ended up traveling, bought an RV, ended up traveling with my family, living in an RV for 6 months.
I should have did that with my stimmy check. That's awesome.
Yeah, no. And my husband
great.
went day trading, and then we looked into an Amazon fulfillment business, and that's what led us to Orange County. So we ended up halting, stopped living in an RV.
Let's talk about power couples.
Yeah, so rented a house in Orange County, worked the Amazon fulfillment business. I, of course, was still networking with other people trying to get out in the skin industry there. And since everything was shut down, it was so hard. So that's what kept us kind of afloat during COVID years. And then after everything started picking up again, I met a couple women out there. I met 2 women out there that would drive certain roads for me. One woman, she introduced me to another woman who's a cosmetic chemist. She lives in Florida, was on Zoom calls with her. We brainstormed how to do this eczema skincare line because so many people struggle with eczema. My son was born with infant eczema, has not phased out of it. And so I did this little concoction of oatmeal, honey, and milk. And I would let it harden on the skin, then remove with lukewarm water. And that would kind of soothe him for a week or 2. And then we would do bath soaks and things like that with Kaleido oatmeal. And so she kind of put everything in perspective to where it could be a shelf product. And we're at a halt with that now because of funding for the project. So that's where I'm at right now with that project. I met another girl who went into business for herself as a body sculptor. And then I did full body waxing in Newport Beach. We had shared a studio together. And then my husband was like, hey, I'm going to go back to school, because when COVID happened, it shut us off of school campus and everything. So he went back to school, and I had to leave the new business behind.
Right.
So that's the second time starting a business again, you know?
Yeah.
And went to San Diego, and I was looking for a job, and I saw that Paul Mitchell was hiring for a learning leader. And that's what got me back into teaching for Paul Mitchell again. Wow. Kind of weird full circles that I'm making in my career.
But it kept, during your career, you kept going back to those three things: makeup, skincare, and teaching. Yeah. And also, of course, waxing. Yeah, you know, when I say skincare.
Yeah.
But that's awesome that, you know, that's your niche.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those three things are your niche, and you're really honing into it by going into nursing school, so you can do even more for your clients.
Yeah, I mean, you can come to me and I'm gonna be your Botox person, your laser IPL treatments, your chemical peel treatments, your waxer, like everything.
Anything.
When I got my aesthetic license, I saw an opportunity that was endless for me, because this industry keeps evolving and it's never ending.
Never.
And it's a $1 billion industry. It's more. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So we want to keep investing in ourselves, continuing knowledge, you know, learning from mentors out there, learning from reps that come to you that are from different skincare lines, and just learning each skincare line out there. Because the more knowledgeable you are about different lines, the more advice you can give, and the right advice you can give. You have a due diligence for, you know, people who struggle with their skin. You have that due diligence of giving them the right information to do the right for their skin. It's not about money at that point. That money will come. That money will come. We're also salespeople in our industry. We're always suggesting products, and we want to end the session with them taking home a great product that they're going to use to go home, use in their nighttime routine, in their daycare routine, and see results. Because the results don't happen just in the treatment room. It happens at home too.
Oh, it does.
So they need to be in that. And you have to be the one to I want to know everything out there. Because I don't want to be the esthetician that just stops right there and just, like what else can I give my client? You always want to have something going on.
Oh, do you have another question?
No, that was the last question.
Okay. Okay, so my question for you.
Yes.
During the time you were regional training for Massage Envy, Massage Envy, did it cross your mind to expand, you know, well, you already said it, the interesting in your product line, is that with nursing?
So basically, you know, with Massage Envy, I was regional trainer, and like I said, with that, I got more product savvy, ingredient savvy, because I had to break down the ingredients in Murad products, PCA products, and Massage Envy's own skincare line. And then they were filtering out the Murad and going into Obagi. So I did a Obagi training before I left there. And I had to really know how these products worked and what products I could mix and match with, and how emulsifiers work, surfactants work. So that kind of led me into thinking okay, I want to do.
So during this time right now, you're just looking for more ingredients that you can put into this product line.
So I'm looking for more. It's more on the financial part. Okay. So I'm looking for investors for this project, coming up with a business plan with these other women. Yeah. And that we could formulate something and get something going. You know, maybe in a couple of years or so. It's at a slow pace. I have to take things easily.
Yeah, I think I'm
a mom.
Yes. But also, you want the good things take time.
Exactly. I don't want to rush into anything. I want to give the people a good product out there. I want them to end everything and feel like, okay, Aveeno's not doing it. Like, Mistella's not doing it for me. You know, what other eczema treatments options are there?
Can I also bring this up? I want to go back to our first podcast episode. We talk about the trend, and me and Alondra was reading out this product, and we just recently had our training with Jennifer. Shout out to her again, our trainer with Eminence. Our trainer, she's a rep for Eminence, but we go over the ingredient or the ways of how to use it. Right? I was listing out how to use the product, but they bring up botanical extract. And maybe we can roll the clip back. I was like, what is that? What is even botanical extract? So I did a little bit more digging for you guys, our listeners, bringing this trend back up, and I pulled up the ingredient list, and majority of the ingredients in this product is alcohol based, which is very drying. And also botanical extract, quote unquote botanical, is literally the last ingredient in this product. And why I say literally is because the list, your ingredient list, as the ingredient goes on, the list goes on, the products is getting less and less in that bottle. So given that the key focal point of marketing this product is botanical extract, quote unquote, is literally the last ingredient. The fragrance is, I think, higher than the botanical extract.
It's making my esthetician skin crawl.
But you know, when we say good things take time, Nina right now is in that space, that headspace, and she's taking her time to figure out not only what's in it, but how much of the product is in it. Yeah. You know?
Because the first 10 ingredients in a product is the most concentrated. After that, everything's dilution. And the chemist that I'm working with, she is amazing. She is, she's formulated for Clinique, and she's formulated for Estee Lauder and for Flora skincare, which is in Neiman Marcus and Dillard. So very high-end scale, but the product that I'm wanting to deliver is a masstige product. So it is mass marketed, but at a elevated ingredient list. So you can find it at your CVS and your Target, but you can also find it at your medical spas too.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm doing. Nice. It takes time.
So and you want it to be accessible for anyone.
Anyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. I don't want to hold
their journey.
What do they say?
Don't want to gatekeep.
Yeah, don't want to gatekeep. I need to come up with these. I'm a millennial, so these Gen Z words I have to keep up with it.
Let's talk about this millennial thing. Yes. I thought that I was born in 1999, for anyone who is wondering, and I recently this year found out I was not a millennial.
No, you're not.
I was so heartbroken. Guys, I thought this entire time up to this year I was a millennial. And one of my clients came in and I told her that. I was like, girl, I just watched this TikTok video and they were talking about how, you know, the generation goes on, and they were like 1999 is what, Gen Z?
Yeah, Gen Z.
I said, stop spewing lies on the internet. Stop spewing lies. And I told my client, I was like, I don't care what anybody says. I'm a millennial. I am a millennial through and through.
If you feel it, then that's what you are.
I'm gonna keep that generation.
Don't let it.
I'm not letting anybody.
I mean, like, I have some cousins that are like 20. I don't know how old they are. I always think they're like way younger, and then I realize, oh, they're almost 30. I'm like, oh my goodness, you're reaching up to my age. Yeah. But you know, they're still in that phase where they're kind of like the borderline of Gen Z and millennials, and they kind of get what we get. And they get the new school stuff, so I'm like, okay, like,
it's so weird.
It's a good blend.
Yeah, it is a good blend, but I don't know. I was like,
you still can vibe with us millennials and vibe with the Gen Zers.
I guess because my first cousin Ebony, I can consider myself growing up with her, and she's a millennial herself.
Yeah.
And you know, getting to be influenced by her, you know, I think you're a product of what you listen to, what you grow up with, definitely. What you see. Yeah. So I feel like I'm a product of that era, honestly. So
if you feel it, girl, that's what you are.
Thank you. So moving on.
Yes, moving on. Side note.
So that was a little side note. I just wanted to unwind with you guys. Yeah. But we have this segment in our podcast that we want to go over with Nina. It's called Guess the Era. So Alondra and I's favorite chapter in the Milady's book that every esthetician and I believe a little bit of the cosmetologists learn out of is history of cosmetics, right? Yeah. And I'm going to list you out some key points and you have to guess the era, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, before we get started, side note again. I was sitting at the counter with Nina. And literally, guys, I was thinking about what I was going to go over with her in today's episode with guessing the era. And it just crossed my mind to tell Alondra in front of Nina. I was like, Alondra, did you know that they plucked all their eyebrows in the Renaissance era? It wasn't the ancient Chinese and China and Japanese culture. It was the Renaissance era. She's like, oh, okay. I looked at Nina. I was like, oh, shoot.
Actually.
I was like, oh my goodness, I just gave it away.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
Okay, she's definitely taking that one out. I thought I was going to get a freebie.
So I had to go back to the drawing board. Thank God I brought my Milady's book today because I would have been like in a pickle. Yeah. So this is a new and improved one. Okay, right. You ready? Okay, they are famous for their bathhouses. They use steam therapy, body scrubs, massage, and physical therapies, all available in these bathhouses. Bathing and grooming rituals applied rich oils and fragrance flowers. What era am I?
Roman Empire.
Yes, exactly. Yay. I think that actually those bathhouses gives it away.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because
the bath.
I had visit Arkansas, Hot Springs, Arkansas, and they have bathhouses there from the hot springs. And that's a very Roman thing. Yeah, in Arkansas, Hot Springs, Arkansas.
I didn't know that there was what is it called?
Hot Springs.
Hot Springs. I didn't know that was something here in America.
Yeah, it's beautiful there. It's so beautiful, and their hot springs, they have baths over there that you can just go in and sit. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, and they have this really old hotel, and I think one of the presidents stayed there. You listeners out there probably know what I'm talking about if you visited Arkansas.
We'll put some illustrations.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's a really cute little historic town and just has so much history. So when you said bats, I remember Roman Empire.
That place, right?
And Hot Springs. Yeah. See, I know my stuff.
We just have to warn the other estheticians that's gonna be in the same seat that you are
in. You're like,
get ready.
Yeah. All right. Well,
thank you so much for coming here today and being on our podcast. You didn't have to share your story on our platform, but I'm so grateful that you did.
I'm very. I would say this experience makes me even more passionate for what I do.
Yeah.
And seeing you two in just doing the most is just awesome because I feel like I've met estheticians that share that same passion, and a lot of us get burnt out in the industry, and especially for as long as I've been doing it, there are times where I felt burnt out, and then I get some kind of fire back in me, and you guys have put more of that fire back in me. I know. No, like seriously, it is. It's a very beautiful thing when you can see other estheticians just sharing your same passion, and all you want to do is you have all this in your head and you just want to share it and make them evolve into better estheticians.
Right.
And as a teacher, like, I wanted my students to be the best estheticians coming out of my program. And it led me back into school.
Do you still follow your students? Do they still reach out to you?
Yes, my students reach out to me. They've reached out to me to get jobs, be like their person for interview, like, you know, references. And I'm like, you can use me anytime, girl. Like, anytime you can use me. Like, I will be there for you. And one of my students just got hired at a spa, and I was one of her references, and I just, you know.
Was it out in Southern California?
No,
or was
she actually
here?
was in Washington. Yeah.
Wow.
So my students moved back to their hometowns, and they went and got their license there, and then they got hired. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited because some of them still reach out to me and they'll ask me advice for anything, and I'm there. I'm there for anybody who needs it. I've always been that kind of person. I don't like to keep things to myself. I like to share. And so, yeah.
And I feel like that says a lot about you as a person too, how welcoming and caring you are. And I think that's such a big thing when it comes to being an esthetician too. If you do it with passion and with care and interest, of course, there's going to be a lot coming your way.
Yeah.
So it says a lot about you.
Yeah.
This was amazing. I
Aww.
got a little emotional. I was like, hold on.
Also, I just want to put in there, I forgot to tell you, after Paul Mitchell, going back to school, I had my baby. I went back to school. But before that, I was working for Benefit Boutique in La Jolla. And those girls, shout out to Benefit Boutique in La Jolla.
Shout out to them.
They are the most amazing estheticians I've ever worked with in the whole entire industry. They are my homegirls, and they still keep in contact with me. Unfortunately, that store is closing down.
Oh.
Yeah. And they've been open for like 14 years.
Oh.
And they have a beautiful location on Prospect and Girard in La Jolla. So, yeah, they're about to close down like next week.
You told me.
Yeah.
Do you think it has something to do? I think you told us this when we were in our meetings. When you guys were there in the store, you kept seeing a lot of med spas opening up around it.
Yes.
Do you think it could be that?
Who knows? Who knows what they're going to use that space for? It could be a restaurant. It could be anything. Because right down the street, if any of you guys watch Selling OC and Selling Sunset, the Oppenheim group is right down the street from there.
Wow.
So I worked right down the street, like 2 studios down from their real estate thing. So who knows what it's going to be? It could be another like real estate company coming in. I don't know. I have no clue, but there is a lot that goes down there. It's a tourist area, and so our store was really fun because we got to do tourists. Yeah. And we got to meet all these people from like France and from like all over Europe, Germany, and Italy, a lot of Italy and Irish, and just all these different nationalities coming to that store. So it was really cool working there.
That sounds like a lot of fun, and every day was different.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah.
Something always.
Yeah.
I just want to put in there to you guys, if you are viewing this podcast to support Nina and listening to her story, don't forget to like this YouTube video, or also like or follow our podcast and rate this episode. And if you're an esthetician, I'm curious to know how many estheticians are viewing our podcast.
Yeah.
And also skincare lovers, but estheticians, this one's for my estheticians and cosmetologists. If you're an esthetician, please put the little facial emoji in the little facial emoji in the comment section, because I would really like to know, we're not alone in this. We are building this platform, because this platform, I want to make this platform, Alondra and I, a space for estheticians and cosmetologists can use to share their stories.
And maybe just help one another in the industry.
Yeah, share their stories, where they've been, their view on the industry, because your experience is completely different from my experience. But we're still on that parallel, we're still working,
towards like one main goal.
Yes.
And the same drive.
Yes, yes, we do. And I think that is just so cool.
I know.
Like all different walks of life.
Yes.
That's the way that we connect as on a human
and
level.
Scientifically, I mean, I've learned this just by evolution, and we as human beings, we need human interaction, and it keeps us living longer. And there's a statistics that grandparents that are around their grandchildren have a 37% chance of living longer.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So me having my kids around their grandparents, and then my great grandma is still alive. God bless.
Wow.
Yeah, and so she gets to see my baby every day,
Right?
and that's just gonna bump her
Even
life
there,
even more. And she's hitting like 82 in July.
Oh,
Yeah, so we're just like, oh my gosh, just all blessings, you know, just and that's what I see is like our human connection, especially in this industry. We are human based, we are people based, so we need to keep that interaction going and keep that energy going and positive. Yeah, it can. Yeah, and you know, I've battled with my mental health on and off, you know, and it's just nice that this has been my safe space. It's like being an esthetician.
That's how I feel too.
You know?
Yeah.
I loved going to work on a bad day and just making someone's day because I did their eyebrows on point.
Right. Yes.
I did their brow lammy like perfect.
Yeah.
It gave me kudos to feel good and then be like, oh my God, thank you. And you're just like, yay, the rewards of my work.
Just their, reaction afterwards. It means a lot too.
Or doing someone's makeup and making them feel so like, wow, I didn't know it could look this way. And you're just like, yeah, like I didn't do too much, girlfriend. You got it all there. I just enhanced you, you know? It's just so nice to just give women in the industry like that point of view that you are someone's day maker. And that's when I learned that Paul Mitchell we were called day makers, and it was just it just came with me. That culture came with me in everything I did.
Day makers. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being in our podcast.
Thank you, girls.
This was such an experience, I think, for both of us.
Yeah,
and just us starting this podcast. Yeah. I don't know. It's exciting, and it's exciting to hear you out too and your experience.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here, and I am so excited to see what you guys do along this journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, guys, so don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on those notifications to get updated each time we post a new video. For our podcast listeners, don't forget to follow our podcast on Spotify. Don't forget, if you have a couple seconds, just go ahead and rate our podcast and let us know how you like it. And we'll see you guys in our next episode.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.